What's up, YouTube? Today is the day. Today is the day. New Hampshire primary. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. We have, a little bit of momentum. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things today. And I figured, yeah, let's just do it this way because this will be a little bit easier for me. So gonna try to cover a couple of different things. Like I said, New Hampshire primary is today, so if you are in New Hampshire, please go out and vote. I'm supporting Andrew Yang. If you're not, then you should be. But we also have a Gallup poll that came out last night that's going to go over a couple of things. We're going to talk about my adventures hanging out with Mike Bloomberg, and by hanging out, I mean I was fairly far away from him. I didn't touch him, talk to him, or really ask him any questions. And yeah, just everything. So let's do this, all right? So I hope everyone is doing well today. I don't have any water, so prepare for me to be slightly parched at some point. But yeah, so last night we got a final CNN tracking poll conducted by the University of New Hampshire, and they are showing that 29% of primary voters say they back Sanders, 22 support Mayor Pete, 11 Biden, 10 for Warren, 7% for Amy Klobuchar. But we have some early results here. I don't know if you guys have seen this graphic going around, but I'm finally seeing Andrew Yang on a graphic when it comes to polling. And that's all that matters. We're all about data here. We're not trying to, look, I'm not going to try to yes you to death or bore you or send you a bunch of videos of we got no substance. We got numbers. And according to the numbers, Andrew Yang is actually showing up on a board today. All right. I'm talking about fourth place. Early, obviously, very early. This is from pretty much last night. The first airplane, the first couple of little areas have already voted, and with 1% in, 1%, Amy Klobuchar, 29%. What? I told y'all stop sleeping on Amy, man. Look, Amy might be our ticket into the White House, so y'all need to stop sleeping on Amy. And then we got Elizabeth Warren at 14, Bernie at 14, but Andrew J. Coming in at fourth place right now. This doesn't even have the delegate count. I actually show. Let me give me a second because I want to pull up the thing on Twitter because it actually showed where we were at. Give me 1 second. It showed some delegates. Come on, Yang Gang, where you at? Somebody has to have recently posted this thing. Look at me slipping. Sorry, I'm a little bit rusty. Let's see, where is it at? No. Oh, come on. Nobody's posted it? Let's see. Okay, well, I don't see the actual photo, but there is a photo that shows. Oh, is this it? Yeah, this is it. So he has, I guess, 3 votes. Klobuchar's got 8. Yeah, this is the same thing. This is just putting it in the actual votes tally. So this is early, man. This is early, but it's good news. The reason why I wanted to start this video off by talking about this is because, of course, I've said for quite a while that this is about people believing in Andrew Yang. This is what these early states are about. We don't expect him. These states aren't very diverse, but when people see that Andrew Yang is a legitimate candidate, this is great news. This is going to give people the confidence they need to go and say, you know what? I'm just going to do what I want to do. And we know that New Hampshire is known for doing what they feel is best for them, and they don't really follow the trend. So Andrew might actually perform well in this particular state. So, I mean, fourth would be phenomenal. As I've been saying, 10% would make me happy. But, yo, I'll take 17, 20, 25. I'll take a dub. Whatever you have to offer, New Hampshire, hands are open. Please, give me what you got. So, you guys are saying I think we need a miracle today. Hey, if we get a miracle, I'll take it. No complaints. I did hear Paget say that if as long as the campaign is asking for donations, you have no reason to fear that would be the indication that perhaps things are not going well. They'll stop asking for donations if they don't think Andrew has a true path to victory. So as long as you're still getting those emails that are driving you crazy asking for an extra $15, just know that's a good sign. That means we're still in there. So the big thing, as I've kind of complained about, well, not complained, as I've said about Iowa, was just that we didn't really get a clear indication as to who might need to move on. Everyone is kind of looking good. Pete looking good. Amy's looking good. Warren is slipping. Biden is slipping, but these aren't quite reasons yet for them to want to drop out. So hopefully, after today, say about 7:00, we'll have some results that'll make somebody decide to pack it up. I've seen people. I've seen it being said now that Joe Biden is just absolutely done, and I'll tell you guys this. I've decided to stop watching The Hill. The Hill's it's a good show. It's cool, but I just can't watch them anymore. They're just too biased, and it's not too biased. Like, I understand they have their point of view and who they're supporting and everything, but I think I've consumed too much of The Hill's content, and that it started to skew my opinion based on what compared to what I was actually seeing. And they say things sometimes that they're so strongly for their particular candidate that it starts to make me, I can't trust their opinion. So, which is why I'm going to be talking about Mike Bloomberg here today. If you guys know, I went to go see Mike Bloomberg, and I got to say, I thought that it was going to be a joke, and I'm going to tell you right now, Mike Bloomberg is absolutely 100% real. You should be afraid of Mike Bloomberg. I don't know why people got this idea early on that, oh, it's okay, he can come in, he can be the establishment guy, and that's not going to be a problem. No, Mike Bloomberg is legit, okay? I'm going to save that to the end, but Mike Bloomberg is legit. I'm telling you. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting this. Dude is going to be a problem. But outside of the that poll, they have Andrew Yang came in fourth in the CNN Gallup poll at 4%. Tulsi's at 5%. Warren at 10%. So Andrew again didn't particularly impress in the early poll. Then you got the second choice, Elizabeth Warren at 20% leading, which was kind of crazy. I really wasn't expecting to see Elizabeth Warren so high as a second choice when, so many people don't like Elizabeth Warren, but somehow 20% second choice. Bernie Sanders at 15%. Andrew bumps to 6%, but that's still 7th place. So second place. That wasn't really too exciting. But interestingly, then there's this number. Which of the following candidates running for Democratic nomination would you not vote for under any circumstances? Number one, you won't even believe what I'm going to tell you who number one is. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to see this coming. At 17%, we got Joe Biden. At 13%, number two, Elizabeth Warren. What? I don't even understand this. I do not understand this. Andrew Yang at 2%. That puts him at 246 at 7 again. But interestingly, at 11th place at 1% is Mike Bloomberg, who they can't vote for anyway. So just, numbers, just interesting. Just take this stuff, put it in the back of your brain. These are numbers that you might need to quote one day. So I just like to give you guys the information, the data, in case it comes up. But then we have the candidate with the best chance to win the general election. Number one, Bernie Sanders at 30%. But then who's number two? Who's number two? You're not going to guess who number two is based on what I've already told you. Joe Biden. Joe Biden is number two at candidate with the best chance to win the general election at 22%. After I just told you that he's the candidate least most likely or least likely for someone to vote for. Like, I'm confused. I'm confused. I guess I don't have to understand. But apparently I think that, but this is a good thing because I think this really gives you an indication of what you're dealing with when you're talking about New Hampshire. New Hampshire is just special. So that's the big takeaway here. I don't know. And then they have Andrew Yang at 0% chance of winning. So I'm just like, okay. I don't know what to do with this information. But again, I just thought I'd pass it along. It's good fodder. Yeah, I'm a lying dog face pony rider. I did see Joe Biden's thing. See, that wasn't that big of a deal to me. That's just Joe Biden being Joe. I wasn't like he's referring to the Joe Biden in one of these town halls calling some I guess some 20-year-old chick. Sorry if that was incredibly sexist, but she's a 21-year-old chick. Sorry. He called her a lying dog face pony rider or whatever. But he said it in jest. It was just a little funny thing. I thought it was pretty funny. So I don't know, everybody's getting all like hands up like, oh my God, he said this. Joe Biden's crazy. Like, we know Joe Biden's crazy. We know Joe Biden's hilarious. I don't understand what you're talking. I love Joe Biden, okay? I told you. When this whole thing is over, me and Joe, we could have a push-up contest. We could have a laugh. It'll be all good. I just don't want him to be president. And then I saw this morning again, I don't know which poll it was because it's not this poll. My poll says that 15% of New Hampshire voters are still trying to decide. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the Republican primary. So, yeah, so the number is probably right. Yeah, 46% or so of New Hampshire voters are still undecided. So, again, that's why I wanted to get this out. Throw this out there. If you're a New Hampshire voter, there's still time. You can do whatever you want to do. Your state is clearly confused, so go with your heart. You know what I mean? It's going to be okay. Andrew Yang is still perfectly legitimate. Let's let this thing happen. So we're done with that. Now let's move on. So then we have this poll, right? Now, I did a video about this poll, or I guess an earlier version of this poll last year. I guess the data had to have been from about June. 76% of Democrats would vote for a socialist president, right? However, only 45% of Americans said they would vote for a socialist presidential candidate. So I like to bring this out because this again was why I can't watch The Hill. I have to get away from this progressive talking point thing. It's like just as bad as with CNN or whatever. Like they have the candidates that are. The Hill's always talking about how they don't like the mainstream media. They do the exact same thing. What's the other one? The Young Turks, they do the exact same thing. These people don't think. They have an agenda, and that's fine. If I had a huge media outlet, I would have an agenda too, so I get it. But I just can't. I can't roll with them because they're just too biased. They say one thing, and then I turn over to CBS News, or I turn over to Fox, and I turn over to MSNBC. I'm getting great information that says the complete opposite thing of what they're saying, and I'm just like, no, you got to think for yourself. You can't dig in too far into what they're saying. So, again, a reminder: 76% of Democrats would vote for a socialist president, but only 45% of Americans, and that's all that matters. Don't get caught up in this idea that you have to be crazy left, super progressive. Again, this is one of those things that I got from hearing Bloomberg speak the other day. He pretty much he made his comment about Joe Biden. He made his comment, or he didn't say Joe Biden, but he made a statement about it's time for some new ideas. It's time to move forward. And then he also said some things about, you don't have to be so crazy left that you're making America feel uncomfortable. And I talked to people out at this event, and it was a lot of boomers in this crowd. I mean, it was all boomers. And there were surprisingly black people there. I ain't gonna front. There was actually black people there. But yeah, people don't want to go left. They don't want to completely change healthcare. We saw the numbers earlier on healthcare. Most people want some type of some changes to be made to the Affordable Care Act, but they do not want this wholesale change of going to Bernie Sanders' version of Medicare for all, despite the numbers that you see that tell you that it is popular. First of all, it's not going to pass. So really, it doesn't matter how popular it is. But hypothetically, if it was super popular, it wouldn't pass. But since it's not, there's also this huge issue where people are just unclear as to what it actually means. And I'm not calling Bernie Sanders a socialist. I'm not calling him a socialist. He calls himself that. We heard there was a segment where Donald Trump did this word association game, and he went through all the candidates on the Democrat side, and they asked him about Joe Biden or about Bernie Sanders, and his response is that he is a borderline communist, essentially. So, good luck in a debate when you're saying that you're a democratic socialist. I don't care if it doesn't mean what America is supposed to. I don't care if people are confused. When you get up on that debate stage and you're arguing with Donald Trump, good luck trying to define democratic socialism. And all people are hearing socialism. All people are hearing is socialism, and that's going to be a problem for him. So I'm not making up these numbers. This is the second poll that I've brought up with this number, and this is a full year later. So we're getting closer to the election time. So despite how he performs amongst the Democrats, because I think we forget that you have to get some Republicans to vote for you too. Like you had to vote, you got to get people from the other side too, because this is just right now the primary. But then in the general election, you got to vote against, you got to go against a Republican. Gonna be slightly difficult. So good luck with that, bruh. No complaints, but just keep your eyes open. Again, in this, they did the same thing here. They talked about 96% said they would vote for a black candidate, 94% would vote for a Hispanic, 93% for a Jewish candidate, 93% for a woman. What was it? 60% for an atheist. Again, even when I originally did this video, I was talking about Andrew Yang, and I was saying him being non-religious might be an issue for him, you know what I mean? But it's not as much of an issue as being a socialist, believe it or not. So 78% said they would vote for a gay lesbian candidate. 68% said they'd vote, or 66% said they vote for a Muslim. So pretty much anybody can run for president except for Bernie Sanders. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Yo, stop sleeping on Bloomberg. I'm just telling you right now. Listen, when I talk about Bloomberg, you're gonna be like, oh, he's not playing. He really wants to win. Like he really wants to win. I thought he didn't want to win. He's already spent like $300 million, and he's gonna commit like up to like $600 million or $500 million or so. So wow. He even made a joke. He said, if you guys see my commercials, you better have. I spent enough money on them, which I thought was hilarious. I just love rich guy jokes. I talked to his photographer, and I asked him, I was like, he doesn't ride that bus, does he? He's like, no, I've never seen him on the bus. I was like, yeah, I imagine he's not riding on the bus. I don't think you're going to see a Mike Bloomberg bus tour. Unless they got a helipad, he ain't coming. Bloomberg just screams artifact from the 30s. He definitely has that cachet. But he's trying to win. Like I said, he's absolutely trying to win. Don't believe the hype. He is a problem just because he's not eligible right now. I mean, he said it. Yo, I'm running this thing like I'm running for general election. I'm not focused on the early primary states. Whatever, I jumped in late. This is all I can do. So I'm just going to go to every other part of America. I'm in Oklahoma, and apparently he's been here twice in the last 6 months. So he's making some noise. All right. Now, where are we at? Okay, we're 18 minutes in, not bad. So now let's talk about my adventures with Mike Bloomberg. Got a whole stack for this. Let me see what you guys are saying real quick. I think it's best to recognize what people like about Amy. They like what she's good at building bipartisan support. Yeah, that's actually, again, one of the things that Bloomberg talked about. You know, he actually made a comment that kind of reminded me of, Tom Steyer in that town hall last debate, where he said, this whole thing is going to be about the economy. And Bloomberg stated, this isn't just about the economy. This is about bringing America together. And this is a message that he echoed repeatedly in his 15-minute or so speech. It was honestly just really impressive. Am I going to vote for him? No way in hell. But he's going to give a lot of people something to think about. People are looking for an alternative. People wanted Joe Biden to enter this race. Again, I showed you guys CNN poll from January 2019. They were begging for Joe Biden to get in the race. All right, they wanted him in. They felt like he had the best chance to beat Donald Trump. Obviously, those numbers have slipped since then, but that establishment presence, it makes people comfortable. And again, despite where Bernie polls with the younger demographic, you saw Iowa's turnout was lower than expected, which is why his victory wasn't as great as he would have expected. But that 50 to 64 demo, it's going to be tough. They're the people they really want that. They're the more reliable voting bloc. They really want that moderate. Sorry, I hate to break it to you. If you're progressive, this is heartbreaking to you. Like, they want a moderate. You know what I mean? Shit, I want a moderate. I don't trust you. I can't get jiggy with this progressive talk, but good luck, man. I took an online survey this morning. One of the questions: if November 20th presidential election were held today, for whom would you vote? Everyone biting off of Yang at this point. Well, he said it. We saw him. He's been saying it forever. Either I'm going to win or everyone's going to sound like me. So, and it's because when you got great ideas and you're brilliant, then people are going to copy off of you. You know what I mean? When you're the best student in the class, people are going to look at your paper. That's just how it goes. It's just it depends on what are you going to do about it. Are you gonna move your seat? You gonna let them keep copying off of you? You gonna tell a teacher? You're gonna fight back? Like, what are you gonna do? It's up to you. No way that flies in the land of the free. Live free or die. Bloomberg tried to ban certain sizes of sodas in New York. I thought that was brilliant. I'm telling you, listen, I like the Bloomberg ban the sodas. I'm sorry. I think it's a great idea. But what I actually, I'll tell you this. I was really interested in that because that's my kind of policy. But as I did research, I found the actual problems with the policy. The policy itself wasn't really the big issue to me. The issue was like the way it was implemented. It had these weird rules where if milk made up 50% or more of your beverage, then certain rules don't apply, or it only applies to certain businesses. Like there's weird nuances in it that were problematic. The idea of saying that people shouldn't have 65-ounce beverages is not a problem for me. I traveled to Thailand a couple years ago, and the first thing I noticed as an American were the size of the food portions. It was unbelievable. I mean, no matter what you ordered, you got two little things, and I was just like, well, where's the food? But now, that was when I was eating bad. But now that I eat way better than I ever did, I eat way less than I ever did, and I understand the value in eating like smaller portions. Like, we're supposed to have small portions. I don't know why we as Americans think you're supposed to eat until your stomach hurts. Like, that's not necessary at all. Like, that's just what we do. We should probably chill out a little bit. So we might want to chill out on that. Just throwing that out there. I know you want your 64-ounce big gulps, but it's not that great for you. What do you think about Steyer's $22 minimum? Is that what he's proposing? Jesus. I don't like messing with minimum wage because I'm a business owner and I understand the realities of what minimum wage does to businesses. Like, it just takes the opportunity away. If you're trying to start a business and okay, I want to do something. Well, I need labor, but if I can't afford labor and it's already hard for me to start a business and I already don't know things and I don't know people and I don't have any customers, like, can I really afford to hire somebody to take care of a little menial task in my business? Probably not. So that's a real challenge. I mean, if you run a business, there's a difference between having 500 employees and having 2. Or being a solopreneur. It's like not the same thing at all. It's not about health. It's about choice and liberty. I hear you. I'm not going to argue. I'm just letting you know if I was president, you wouldn't be getting your big goals. I'm just saying. I mean, not that I wouldn't have more important things to worry about, but that's just not like I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of how religious you are or whatever, there's this thing in the Bible that says, like, if your right hand causes you to sin, then you should cut it off. Like, I used to be like, no, that's a horrible idea, but now I'm older and I have a child, and it's like, the hand might have to go. So I'm just saying, do what you want to do, take advantage of the laws as they exist today. But if Aaron's president, big gulps is gonna be out of here. 20 years from now, minimum wage will be $100. You know, Mike Bloomberg, he wants to talk. Well, let's talk about Mike Bloomberg. All right. So the first thing, $1,000, $100 minimum wage. We need high UBI, no minimum wage. People could pay to work. That's what college is. Absolutely. So the first thing I want to talk about is Mike Bloomberg. He gets up. First of all, let me talk about this place. I walk in this place, and there's a line. Like I pulled up around the corner. This place was at the Oklahoma History Center, which is am I a religious man? I'm not really a religious man, but I'm very spiritual, and I try to be extremely disciplined. So I do like a lot of the rules that are in the Bible. I like books that teach you how to be more disciplined. So wherever discipline comes from, I'm all about it. If one of you guys wants to go out in the mountains for a week and meditate, let me know. I'm down. I'm trying to find a retreat. I'm into that sort of thing. But I pull up around the corner, right? This thing's at the Oklahoma History Center. And I see there's like an American flag. You can see a flag through the window, and there's like a couple of people. And I hit the corner, and I pull in the parking lot, and this place is rocking. I'm like, what? I walk up to the door, and we had to wait. I got there early. I didn't have a press pass or anything, so I'm standing out there, and like everyone's lined up. And then as I'm standing there, I'm there for 5 minutes. I turn around, my look over my shoulder, and there's people back to the parking lot, and I'm just like, what? A Bloomberg rally. Listen, I'm not going because I'm supporting Bloomberg. I'm going because the opportunity has presented itself. Look, if Joe Biden was here, I would have went. You know what I mean? I don't care. That doesn't mean I'm gonna vote for him. I'm just gonna go. I want to check out the digs. So, anyways, I get in. I walk in. They're handing out free T-shirts. They're giving out buttons. You got to text to get in. Every rally I've been to has been like that. You got to text to a code or whatever. I guess I decided to get your information. But then there's like a food spread, and I'm like, holy, they serving food up in here? I've seen a couple of candidates. I ain't had no food yet. I was like, whoa. This man's serving food. Boomers out like crazy for sure. Yeah. But again, then I saw black people, and that's what started to make me like, why are black people here at all? Because if you guys don't know, did Bloomberg stop and frisk you? I told you, he slinked in the back door. He wasn't touching me. He wasn't talking to me. He was off limits. Like I told you, he ain't riding the bus. This is Bloomberg. He's like the 17th richest man in the country or something crazy. So, but I get in there, and it's beautiful. Like it's just straight beautiful. But there's black people there, like tons of them, and I'm just like, what's going on? So apparently, first thing is he talked about, he starts his speech and he's talking about, he has Judge Judy, by the way. Judge Judy's on board. I don't know why, but she opened up for him. Delightful woman, but I don't know. She's no Dave Chappelle. Like, it's not the kind of celebrity endorsement you need. But she's like on the longest running TV show in the world or in America or something crazy. I digress. He gets up there and starts talking about how he unveiled what is known as the Greenwood Initiative. So back to stop and frisk. For those of you that don't know. Well, first of all, let me give you guys my opinion on this. A lot of people think Bloomberg's record with stop and frisk in New York is going to be problematic for him. But here's what I know. It's not going to be. And here's why. This is the same thing with Harris. Any person who's a prosecutor or police officer, whatever, if you have to do any kind of police work in a minority community, I don't know why these people run from their record about locking people up, because if you've never lived in a high crime community, I'm from the inner city, okay? And when your community is being terrorized by criminals, you're not really too concerned about the racial makeup of who's going to jail as long as you can walk down the streets in safety. This is why I don't understand why Kamala Harris runs away from this. Mayor Pete, he's got some special issues. He goes out of his way, he goes out of his way to make life difficult for himself. But Harris, Klobuchar, anybody who has any type of racial, look, there's high crime in black neighborhoods. It's always going to be. Sorry, I thought there was some kind of animal in my house. That's just the conversation. And then these people get called out on their record. We know the Democrats don't care about the black community. So when you have Bloomberg on or you have whoever on and you're asking them these questions about what happened in the black community when you were mayor or governor or a prosecutor or whatever, you're not asking because you care and because you want to do something about it. You're just asking because you're trying to get them in these gotcha moments so you can focus on the candidate that you want to push. Traditionally, everybody has some kind of rough situation in the black community or in any community color. That's always going to be the situation. If you're a prosecutor, that's just going to be it. You had to at some point have locked some black people up. So, it is what it is. But as I've been telling you guys with Andrew Yang, he often would cite this statistic about black wealth essentially being zero. The racial wealth gap is abysmal. Yada, 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 yada. But he has no actual policy to address this. And we know that Tom Steyer is going hard right now for the black vote. I don't know why. I guess he's trying to get something. He's trying to get something to offer. And apparently he's like polling second in South Carolina, which is unbelievable. But this Bloomberg guy, Bloomberg Films, Bloomberg's got to pay. But Bloomberg has this thing, okay? He has this thing called the Greenwood Initiative. Now, this is why I keep saying if you're running for president, this is the difference between pandering and actually doing something to address your issues. So Bloomberg said, he was in New York. There was 800,000 murders when he got in there, and he became mayor right after 9/11, and he brought the murder rate down by 28%. Now, I just saw him on MSNBC, and they're grilling him, and they're just like, no, it wasn't him. It was like his campaign manager was strategist or somebody like that. And they're like grilling him like, well, so why did he support this? And the guy's like, well, he apologized. Like he said he acknowledged that he was wrong. He said that it was racist. And there's like now some tape that's circulating. I don't know if it's some internal audio or a conversation or whatever, but he's like, we need to have more stop and frisks in minority communities because that's where the crime is happening. But again, if you are somebody who lives in these communities and you have to deal with the crime, you're not thinking about the racial impact, the societal impact of what's occurring. You don't care. All you know is that it's not safe for your children to walk down the street, or that your cousin got shot, or XYZ is happening. Nobody is complaining about this stuff in the moment. It's only when you have this revisionist history, when you go back and you look at the data and you say, oh, all these people went to jail. Yeah, but the people who lived in the community didn't care because they supported it. It's like the same thing when you go back to like the 94 crime bill. The 94 crime bill came from the community. If you lived in the community and you were terrified because you had crackheads walking up and down the street and their cars getting broken into and people are breaking into your house and all types of violent crime is happening, you don't care who's going to jail. You just want your community to be safe. So I don't think that Bloomberg's whole stop and frisk is going to be as problematic for him as people believe. And again, this is why. So let's talk about this Greenwood Initiative. Here's what this man is planning on doing. All right? Because this is scary. This is scary when I heard Mike Bloomberg proposing this, because this is like a legitimate plan. He's going to, 1, create 1 million new black homeowners in the next decade. Create 100,000 new black-owned businesses in 10 years. Invest $70 billion in our 100 most disadvantaged neighborhoods. Increase access to capital and collect better data on hiring, pay, procurement, and lending. Now, when I interviewed with Andrew Yang on the panel, I asked Andrew Yang specifically about if he would create a designation on his American scorecard for African American descendants of slaves versus African Americans. And the reason why that question is important is because what often happens with programs that are designed to assist African Americans specifically, they get co-opted by, guys like Elon Musk, who is an African American, right? He's from Africa. He moved to America. He's an African American. He can take advantage of a lot of these same programs. This is the problem. The greatest benefactor of the affirmative action is actually white women. But this is not rocket science. This is common knowledge. So when you say you want to do something about the racial wealth gap or to help the black community, but you don't have a specific policy to address these specific issues, it makes it seem like you're just talking. I didn't ask him to make this, but here's the thing. First of all, these programs, these are government programs. It's always, and this is how you would refute this, right? This is a government program. Are you sure historically the government doesn't implement these things properly? People are taken advantage of. So do you trust the government to actually do this stuff properly? I don't know. The Bloomberg audio is pretty bad. Who in their right mind thinks white people are stopped too much and minorities not enough? Again, go talk to a black person from the neighborhood at the time. I'm not disagreeing with you that at the time that it was a good thing. But I know that if you went to those communities and you asked those people how they felt about stop and frisk, not the people who were being harassed, but like the old people who were going to the city council meetings, they probably loved it. Like they were like, ooh, well, it's safe out here. So, on the flip side, when you speak crazy, it sounds like pandering. So here you have this, right? Down payment assistance to millions, getting millions banked and organized by credit scoring companies, enforcing fair lending laws, reducing foreclosure and evictions, increased supply of affordable housing. Again, I didn't ask him to write this, but this is a solid plan. And this is going to be problematic for anybody who's running against Mike Bloomberg, despite stop and frisk. To boost black-owned businesses, the plan will set up user-friendly one-stop shops for entrepreneurs across the country, expand mentorships, incubators, increase access to capital, both debt and equity, support black-owned banks, and expand procurement from black-owned businesses. These efforts are aimed particularly at benefiting Black female entrepreneurs, the fastest growing group of new entrepreneurs. Yo, I don't know what to tell you. This is... By addressing disparities in early childhood, schools, higher education, skills and training, employment, health, and environmental conditions. More broadly, his policies will expand access to opportunity across the country. And then because the man actually served in office, he's got this wonderful ability to cite his actual record. During Mike's time in office, graduation rates for black students reached record highs, and the black-white achievement gap shrank to a record low. Mike's education reform helps turn around a broken school system. He's more than doubled the education budget, raise standards, increase quality schools by closing something that I didn't cut off. So all I'm saying is Andrew Yang is your only hope. Because at this point, this dude he's Tom Steyering and he's Joe Biden and he's putting them together and he's going to resonate. His message is going to resonate. He is the mayor of New York after 9/11. He has a lot of friends. He got a lot of money. He is going to be a problem. So I say all of that to say it is time to prepare ourselves. One thing that I thought that Bloomberg did really well that Andrew Yang isn't doing is telling his story. With Andrew Yang, we always start with Andrew Yang, tech entrepreneur. What does that even mean? We don't talk about that he ran a test prep company. Where does that come from? Why did he get into that? Tell that story. We need to tell the story. We need to humanize him, remind people who he is, where he came from, to give them this idea of why he wants to get into politics now? Like why now? Because we've had this huge disconnect now where he's a tech entrepreneur, but then we don't ever talk about his time with the nonprofit. Like, well, let's talk about his idea to try to help out these disadvantaged communities and him realizing that his efforts weren't enough. Like that's really missing all of a sudden from his talks. Maybe it's just because I've heard it a million times. So Giuliani was immediately at. He followed Giuliani. But I think that's something that's really important, and I think it's really lacking. But as far as policy, again, UBI is still the best way to go. I think government programs are always sketchy to me. You know what I mean? Historically they just don't really work out that well. Yeah, sure, some people benefit, but there's just too many opportunities for things to fall through the cracks. The government's not that great. They waste a whole bunch of money. Like, we can fight that. We just got to get us in a position where that's the actual conversation. So, again, today's New Hampshire, so the conversation right now is, can we put up a good front? Right now it's looking good. But don't let people make you forget about Mike Bloomberg. He's going to be a problem. He wants to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour. He's talking about modernizing training and education. Like, he's talking about the same things everybody else is talking, but he's got the track record and he's got the money. And he's already polling over 10% nationally. So, like, it's not like he's somewhere out on the outside. Like, he's right there. Tech entrepreneurs never was. I don't know why the media always says it. Yeah, I don't like the idea of the show us the numbers. Oh, yeah, which number you want to see? Sorry, which number? Tell me which number you're looking for. Yang doesn't like more government programs. UBI is great because, yeah, Yang needs to attack Bernie for his implementation, lack of being able to fund his programs. Joe Biden is unrealistic, or is not a realistic, no real path of victory. He doesn't. I mean, he can attack Obama's legacy. Andrew Yang said that he was asked who broke his heart. He said Barack Obama. We had a lot of missed opportunities. Hit him on that record, but he's got to separate himself, and I think he can. Like, when I hear him speak, and I know his policies. Oh, you want to see the New Hampshire numbers? Yeah, when I hear him speak, and I know what he's done, Andrew makes the most sense still. Like, a lot of these guys are talking, but he's gotta shore up the people who are like, oh, well, you don't have the experience. Like, why don't you have the experience? Well, remind me that you were out here trying to change the world in your small way with your nonprofit, and you just realized that, as he had said it at one point. It was like trying to fill up a giant bathtub with a hole in it. Yang needs to unleash the beast. What are Yang's New Hampshire numbers right now? Right now, well, as of at 1% reporting, Yang is at he's in fourth place at. Oh shoot, where did it go? He's at fourth place at. Did it say 11%? 11%, 11.1%. $15 an hour will only help the bottom 20%. UBI help 95%. Yeah. Identity politics come close to what we'll be seeing when focusing too much on the person. I need to run for Congress like Arthur. Everybody is saying that. Everybody want me to run for office. Y'all don't want me to run for office. I told you I'm going to take your sodas away. You don't want me in office, all right? I'm an authoritarian. You're not going to want me. Your blood sugar, your sugar's going to be down, but your wallet's going to be lighter because you're going to be spending way more money on your big gulps because they're going to be 24 ounces. You're going to be pissed at me. Y'all more about Bloomberg's speech and the reaction of the crowd and people you spoke with. Wait, what did you say? Andrew talks about what all the time? Who is this? John Crabb, tell me what you're saying. The more complicated to create, the more likely it wouldn't happen. Yeah, I'm always about that. He said multiple times the 28, 29 financial crisis is the turning point for Yang. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, who was that? Who was that? Sorry. Why would you settle for something on the surface that benefits one group over another, especially on the grounds of color? Oh me, oh my. Oh me, oh my, your name is my response to what you just said. Not because what you said is terrible, but because that sounds great, unless you're the person who something is going to benefit. That's like corporations saying, why would you support this tariff when you're going to benefit because your competition is not going to be able to compete or whatever. Like, that's how everybody is, man. Everybody's out for self. Like, this is America. Until we got UBI and a strong sense of, what do you call it? When we have the mindset of abundance, people will always say, well, okay, if this is for me, I'll take it. CNN isn't talking about New Hampshire, and so Yang is probably doing better than what is being reported. He needs 15% to get a delegate. What? The soda's killing us. You don't drink sodas, beer, soda. All right, I'm just letting y'all know. I'm just letting you know what kind of public servant I'm gonna be. I'm gonna let you know this is probably not good for him. I'm gonna have to get rid of it. Sorry. Strapping other candidates to a lie detector to ask if they would be a better choice than Yang. Yang will get elected. His hair is white. Someone said we only need one stay in the race, one delegate. Then we get the nominee. Another reason the Democrats will not agree with Bernie, Pete, Buttigieg, Biden, Warren. They have a balance. Yes, but that's the problem, is that Mike Bloomberg is that alternative. Like, if you don't think Mike Bloomberg has a lot of friends, you're crazy. Like, Bloomberg is going to be, he's that guy. They got their eye on him. I mean, you're an authoritarian who doesn't trust the government to get anything right. Interesting. I know, right? I didn't say I was perfect. UBI is great, but I take negative income tax as a second choice. It will help a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah, but we'll see, man. Like I said, right now Yang's at 11%. It's early. Well, that's early. That's from, what time is that from? The website for Hart's Landing boasted the polls are open at midnight, closed at 12:04. The results posted by 12:33. So they're saying we'll know by midnight tonight. By 12:30, we'll know what happens. 12:33 is the time. Let's see if we have any new results. Probably not. I'm going to have to get a subscription to this New York or Washington Post because this is driving me crazy. Damn it. What website is that? That's this website that I'm looking at for the picture with the poll results, that's CNN. Independents Unite. I'm not waiting in line to vote for Clover Church. He's already putting money down into the ballot general election and hiring staff to prevent other campaigns from access to later states. Yeah. Why are you guys talking about UTTs came here from politics? What? Real Actual News on YouTube posted a new Bernie versus Yang vid. But yeah, like I said, I talked to a bunch of people at the event, man. I talked to a bunch of people, and they just want civility. Like that was the word that just kept coming back into my mind. Like, people were really disgusted by Donald Trump. Like that's who this crowd was. This crowd was people who really didn't like the way Donald Trump was presenting America to the rest of the world. They felt embarrassed. They just wanted a regular president, and they wanted things to be slightly better. I imagine these people were fairly well off. It did not seem like, I don't know. I just got the vibe, man. I just got a vibe. Like these people were, they was cool. They wasn't stressing about $15 an hour minimum wage. There were a lot of cardigans in the crowd. Bloomberg is rigging. Who else benefits from the screw up at Iowa? No one besides Bloomberg donated $10 million. I mean, I guess. Like, I can't jump out the window with the conspiracy theorists. I mean, like, look, there's going to be results for Iowa, so it's not like we're just going to chalk it up and say, okay, we're not going to talk about Iowa because we don't know exactly who won. Yang can't get into the debates without a delegate. Exactly. That's what we need to be focused on. Yang needs that delegate. All right, we got not too long to acquire one, but without a delegate, we're not getting on stage. And even still, we know now. Like, I hope we know now, without an actual performance in the debate, it doesn't even matter. Like, we can't look at the debates as, not that they don't matter, because they clearly matter for Amy Klobuchar, but if Yang is not going to go into debates and do what Amy does or what Tom Steyer did the other night, then it doesn't matter. The debates don't matter for us. They matter for other candidates. They matter just so that he's up on stage so that we can say, well, yeah, he did make the debate when you're talking to people, so it seems like he's more viable. But at the end of the day, if the numbers aren't showing that he's creeping up or, even defeating or beating anybody who's up on stage at that particular moment, it's really not gonna matter. I heard Deval Patrick give vibes in Iowa. Oh man, if Yang is white, he wins 90%. I don't believe that. I don't think that. It's not because he's. Look, is it harder because he's Asian? Absolutely, but at the same time, it's also not having the best ideas and being the smartest person and having that does not matter. It's about the whole package. Like, you can be a really great 3-point shooter, but that doesn't mean you're the best player on the court. Like, there's a difference between being an overall package and being really good at certain things. Yang is super intelligent. Yang is super well-researched. He's knowledgeable, all of that. He's got the best policies, but that does not necessarily mean he's going to debate the best, and it doesn't mean that he's going to be able to attract every single person who's interested in a candidate. Like, people are looking for different things. Where's Donald Glover and Dave Chappelle? Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Donald Glover in a while, but you're not. Yeah, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? I'm sure Donald Glover made him some money that he very much needed at the time, and I'm sure Dave Chappelle did the same thing and gave us some attention for a week. So I can't be mad at them for doing more than that. I mean, these people's time is incredibly valuable, and they gave us any of it. So I'm sure a lot of people just cut a check and never show up to any event. There's a bunch of people who donate to campaigns, and it's a lot easier for them to say, here's 10 grand, and never talk to you face to face or never take a picture with you, which is worth so much more. So where are they? I don't know, but it said that Donald Glover was like a creative consultant or something like that, so maybe he still gets an email every once in a while. I think identity is a double-edged sword. I think it works against Yang to a degree. Absolutely. Look, I mean, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that being Asian, being different is always going to be a problem. All right, if you're in a wheelchair, if you're brown, if you're a woman, whatever it is, like, it's always going to be a problem to be different. But at the same time, you know what you're running for. You're running for president, so that's just part of the game. Did anyone see the news about how the IRS is going after Facebook for taxes? Coincidence, since Andrew has been running for president? I did not hear that. That's pretty interesting. If Yang had a chance to get from the get-go, he'd be worth looking at, but he was dead before the race even started. I hear you. People would listen more instantly if he was white. Everything he spouts is the truth. I mean, people listen to Bernie Sanders that don't like him. I mean, some people like. I'm not gonna say nobody likes him, but like again, that doesn't work. Just because you're white, like being white helps. I'm not gonna lie, that's definitely gonna help you, but we can't change his skin color. We can't make him have blonde hair and blue eyes. Like it's a little late for that. Like he is who he is. If he was that, then maybe he wouldn't be as intelligent as he is, or maybe he wouldn't care as much as he does. So, who he is who what he represents now is as a result of who he is and his life experiences. So it is what it is. Facebook owes $9 billion. I'm sure they can cut the check. No problem. I think they'll be okay. They'll sell a couple of shares of stock. I think if he doesn't win, he should promote Yang offices in each state and pilot UBI. That'd be dope. I can't stand the white candidates and I'm white. Being different worked out for 2 Chainz. Oh my goodness. How to change perception of Yang in the black community? Oh, he needs to attack the government. He needs to attack the government failures in the past and remind them that, yes, I understand why you like Bernie Sanders, but do you like the government implementing any part of your life? Like they seem to have a problem with that. I mean, again, we can always go back to the man in the house rule. We can go back to the government giving black people syphilis. Like the government has done wrong by black people historically, so it should be very easy to discredit the government as the body in which you want to be managing like significant portions of your life. And then we can also talk about how the different requirements, the reporting requirements and things like that are involved in policies historically have been problematic. So Andrew wants to uplift people. Like he wants people to do the things that are best for their lives instead of worrying about making sure they maintain whatever benefits that they're currently getting from the government. As I've said, I don't love UBI for the fact that I think that it does hurt poor people in some ways, but it's still better to me than pretty much anything else. I think it still gives you that freedom. Telling people where the money should go is just really problematic. You know what I mean? A lot of opportunities don't come from healthcare or student loans. Like there's more to life than that. There's more areas where people might see an opportunity than that. It doesn't help entrepreneurship at all. And if you're talking about creating wealth, like that should be a part of the puzzle. And Bernie Sanders just doesn't really address that. But you know, there's other candidates, but it's all government stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's always the problem, and that's why Yang should really be attacking. Like, hey, man, the government is just not that great at doing stuff. They're really good at cutting checks, though. They should let them just focus on that. Talk about Andrew is easy because we have the only candidate nobody hates. That's huge. Yang needs to address Bernie Sanders' federal job guarantee. And listen, when you hear other candidates talk, they talk about each other. So I don't know why Yang. I don't know why Andrew doesn't do it, because if you hear, I saw Elizabeth Warren. She didn't attack another candidate, but Bloomberg did. I've seen Joe Biden speeches. He talks about other candidates. I've seen Bernie Sanders talks about other candidates. They all talk about each other. So what's up with my guy? They all talk about each other. They don't, even if they don't say their name, they'll say, oh, you don't have to be so left, or you don't have to be an establishment person, or you know what I mean? Just because I haven't been in Senate for 20 years doesn't mean I don't know. Like they talk about each other indirectly. So I have no problem with these guys, or with Yang saying what he needs to say. His message to the black community is simple: just ask who is putting the most money in the black. There it is. That's what I'm saying. Like, just talk. You know what I mean? Like, just talk. Yang is being told not to for some reason. It's the one thing that pisses me off. Well, here's the thing. It's not like I understood that strategy when Andrew Yang was early on. He was still unknown. He was still trying to, establish who he is and what he's offering. But at this point, it's like scorch earth. Like go with whatever you got. Like throw something out there and see what sticks. I see no reason why he shouldn't just try anything. He's too busy on a private jet. Think of the drop in crime when people have $1,000 a month waiting for them outside of prison. If they, there you go. Like that's what I'm saying. Like talk about like that's not pandering to say a lot of people end up back in prison because they don't have anything to come back home to. Well, universal basic income is going to solve that. Like imagine if you were about to get out of jail and you knew you'd be getting $1,000 a month. How much better would that be for your life and your opportunities and your family and your job prospects if you knew that you could actually afford to take some time off and go and study take some apprenticeship or something like that. Like these things, it makes too much sense. Like it's too easy. Like it's too easy to sell to me. I don't know. It's the same way he was advised not to go all in on Iowa. Yeah, I really should have did that video. I wanted to do this video on Bloomberg's mayoral race, how he won that. And it was kind of the same thing. Like he realized where he couldn't win and couldn't compete, and he just focused on what he could. He kind of jumped into that race late as well. People won't walk around with as many chips on their shoulders. Man, that'd be nice. If you could ask Andrew Yang a question or make a suggestion to him right now, what would it be? If I asked him a question, I would ask him why. I would ask him why he doesn't want the black vote. That's what I'd ask him. Not because that's all I care about, but I think that question would be very telling. How he would answer that question would tell me a lot. Because this is all about framing. You can sell the same thing to multiple groups of people and frame it in a way that makes sense. And I don't know why he doesn't reframe his message. He goes with this idea that I'm for everybody, therefore I should just be able to say I'm for everybody, and that should be enough. But it doesn't work, man. You just got to reframe what you're saying to each crowd. When you go speak to the Latinos, reframe it to the Latino community. When you go speak to the rich white people, you go reframe it to the rich white people. Hey, look, you want to keep them poor people out your backyard? This is what you need. Keep them from breaking into your cars or keep them out of your communities. Like, I don't care what you have to say in order to get people to support you. Just say it. You know what I mean? Like, I have no problem with that. You know what I mean? I don't know why you don't do that. Like, because that's why I say he can run as a Republican, because if he ran as a Republican, UBI would be talked about completely differently. It would be talked about as a way to maintain wealth as opposed to it'd be maintain and protect wealth as opposed to a way to uplift poverty as it's being talked about on the Democrat side. So I think it would be really interesting. And he'd also talk way more about the government. He would be all over, hey, the government sucks. Like this. Why didn't he go on Adam Carolla? He should have gone on Adam Carolla. That is his demo that he's missing. And that is a guy who has a big audience of the 50 to 64s, and it's a conservative crowd. Like, that would be a really interesting conversation. And Adam Carolla likes Andrew Yang. So, I mean, I don't know. Does he still podcast every day? But at one point he did. And that would be a great guy to have a conversation with. But I didn't realize how much of an impact that Joe Rogan interview had. Did you guys know that he only had 34,000 followers when he was on Joe Rogan? He had 34,000 followers when he went on Joe Rogan on Twitter. Like, that interview made his candidacy. And hearing that really made me rethink some things about, like, some missed opportunity. Like, that's crazy. Delicate balance, humanity. He should have said for reparations during the debate. Hey, like, I get him not wanting to go down the reparations route, but at the same time, say what you got to say, bro. Like, I want to win. I'm okay with you saying what you got to say. Yang is afraid to make enemies. Don't be afraid. See, that's concerning to me, because the only reason why I would be afraid to make enemies is if I really wanted to be in somebody's cabinet. Like, if winning wasn't my ultimate priority. If all I cared about was winning, I would say or do whatever I need to do. But if I actually kind of cared more about acceptability and working my way into the back rooms of certain political circles, then I would be worried about saying the wrong thing. And that is always something that's made me wonder if that's actually his ultimate goal. I was told that theft will increase with everyone gets $1,000 because there'll be more stuff to steal. Probably, yeah, probably. Like what? Nobody wants to steal. People just want stuff. Old people, it is the biggest expansion of Social Security. That's what I'm saying. Like, just reframe the freaking argument, dude. It's kind of simple. The cold equations are: this country appears to be overrun with brain dead, knuckle dragging bigots who couldn't look. Oh man, he's too soft. He won't say anything to another candidate. He has to realize that this is a competition. It's hard. I can't tell people that he can beat Donald Trump when you talk about beating Donald Trump, like the first image that comes to your mind is Donald Trump versus this person in a debate, and you see how he's performed in the debates, and you say, "Oh no, that wouldn't be good." Like that wouldn't be good. Like I'm 100% sure that he's more data oriented and he's smarter and he's quicker, but Donald Trump's not gonna go easy on you. And if you've made it to the point where you're the Democratic nominee, like he knows you're a formidable opponent, and you have like support, so you got to bring it. If we can beat Biden and Mayor cheat today, that would be great. I don't know if we're going to beat Pete. Biden, though, the question for Biden right now is going to be his legacy. So one of the numbers I pointed to in this video today was Joe Biden is at 17% for the candidate you would not vote for, the Democratic nominee, or you would not vote for Democratic nominee. But he's also in second place with most likely to defeat Donald Trump. So Biden is in a very interesting place. Again, this is New Hampshire. This is a very particular location with just people, an interesting group of people. But I think Biden might drop out to preserve his legacy, and I wouldn't even call it preserving his legacy at this point because, I mean, either way, this thing is a crash and burn. They say he's got South Carolina sewed up. Let me look at this. I haven't looked at South Carolina numbers at all, but I think it's appropriate that we look at where people are because I know they say he's got this support, but I don't know. All I know is Tom Steyer is surgeon in South Carolina, man. That's what I know. 1 second. Where's this number? Steyer is second only to Joe Biden in the state. It's the Real Clear Politics polling average. Okay, so you see how much work I do for y'all? This is what I do off camera. Like I have to look up the article to find the actual poll because they don't like to cite their sources, the bastards. Let's see. Goldman Sachs says Medicare for all has 5% chance to pass. Yeah, let's talk about that, man. Like, let's talk about that. Wait a minute. Okay, Yang is at 4% in Nevada. South Carolina, Steyer at 18.5, Biden at 31. Sheesh. Sanders at 17. Yeah, man. See, my guy's not even showing up. Yang is afraid to make. Oh, we already said that. Pete is going to lose New Hampshire by a lot. You think he's going to lose by a lot? Per the data. Look, man, listen, you can't come to my channel saying wild things. I will not allow that. All right. Per the data, preferred Democratic nomination presidential candidate, Bernie Sanders, 29%. Mayor Pete, 22. Now, again, we got the current results as of this morning. What do we say was at what? The hell's that number? Okay. We got Mayor Pete is at 7.41%. I mean, but at the same time, you got Amy Klobuchar at 29.63 first. So that's very suspect. Like, I believe that Amy is doing she's doing better than expected. I mean, let me say the right words. She's doing better than expected. But for Bernie Sanders to be tied with Elizabeth Warren and Andrew Yang in fourth, like, it's just too early to. I'm not going to be saying that. Wow, not yet. Not yet. I hope so, though. But if Amy is in first place, now that's a problem, too. So let's just woosah. Let's cross some fingers. Let's kiss your lucky rabbit's foot, whatever you got to do. And, man. Because we have to remember that further along down the line, these candidates will become consolidated. The Klobuchar, the Warren, the Biden, and the Pete will all become one at a certain point, and that is going to be a problem. So this has to happen incrementally. But a good performance today would be huge for Andrew Yang. Amy is literally a nothing burger. Stop sleeping on Amy. Stop sleeping on Amy. I'm not gonna let you sleep on Amy. I'm not gonna let you do it because I don't want you to have that feeling when you're like, "What? Amy's in second place? How's that possible?" Like, no. Don't let it creep up on you. If the debates were formal debates, Yang would appear far more aggressive. As a matter of stand, he's two-play. Yeah. But that's not the rule, so we can't even, you know what I mean? Like, I would love for that. I would love everyone to have to answer the same question and everyone to get the same amount of time, but that's just not what happens. Like, I can't jump out the window when you guys say crazy things. Like, I don't know everything, all right? But I'm a guy who has told you I'm going to look at the numbers. So I'm going to default to numbers. And when the numbers say something to me, I can't ignore that. Now, again, this is the Gallup poll from last night, and this is actual results from today. Let's just, tailor our expectations. We'll watch this thing all day. It's going to be close. It's going to be interesting. It's very spread out. I mean, look at where these candidates are. But I think that Andrew Yang absolutely has an opportunity to do well today, and that's what I'm looking forward to. And again, Paget has said that as long as the campaign is asking for donations, we're still in there. So right now we're in a good place. No complaints. Amy is making a better experience case than Biden. Exactly. Yo, I didn't know who Amy Klobuchar was, but she's impressive. Or at least, I mean, even when she said that she didn't have they tried to, like, she's really good. I saw her on, what was it, MSNBC or something this morning. They were like, or yesterday, whatever it was. And they're like, well, Amy, you're only you're surgeon right now, but you don't have any operations in Nevada. She's like, yeah, we bought Castro's operation. It's like, God. I was like, I see you, Amy. She's like, yeah, we hired Castro's people. I was like, damn. She's like, yeah, we hired Castro's people. I'm on the tourism board in the Senate or something like that. Like, she's good, man. She's really good. So, and she's got that heartland thing, that part of America that we don't talk about. Yeah, she's got that on lock. So, as long as she can stay in there, and she's going to take Elizabeth Warren's support. That's the other thing to remember. Like, Warren's support will go to her because a lot of people who support Elizabeth Warren want a woman. So it is what it is. Bloomberg is also anti-nightlife and anti-affordable housing. Not according to this platform he done rolled out right here. I think that I think Bloomberg is like, look, I messed up, and I know what my biggest weakness is going to be, and I'm willing to say whatever I have to say or do whatever I have to do to make it right. And again, I don't think that Democrats in general are like actually care about communities of color. I think they just do what they have to do in order to get some votes. So when you actually have like an actual initiative that you're going to put money behind, I mean, it says a lot. That's what Tom Steyer's doing. I mean, is he sincere? I mean, I don't know. There's just something about a billionaire getting involved that I think makes them seem more sincere because we know that it's actually costing them more money than they're making to even be involved in this process. What up, Nancy? I'm in New York City. Bloomberg is awful. I agree. But that doesn't mean he's. Again, I'm in Oklahoma. I saw black people there. Young black people, old black people, black people. I was shocked. I saw more black people at the Bloomberg event than there were at the Elizabeth Warren event. I think. Yeah. Yeah. When I was phone banking for Yang, only one person in the Bernie supporters said they like Pete. I asked them if they know about Pete's fake 400. They didn't know, but they do know. Yeah. Bloomberg is a Republican. Great, so am I. Nobody identifies as Democrat, so I mean, it's like these aren't knocks on Bloomberg. I mean, I'm not saying he's a great guy. I'm not saying that I'm saying don't sleep on him. I'm saying don't wake up and Bloomberg is in third place, and you didn't see it coming. Like, just know that there is a narrative, and that the mainstream media loves him. And when you talk, again, when I had to stop watching The Hill, I've been watching Fox News for the last few days, and you know what name keeps coming up? Mike Bloomberg. Bloomberg's got the best chance of winning. Bloomberg is the only person who can give Trump a run for his money. Bloomberg, if he gets on the debate stage, he might jump up 5 points. The black people in Oklahoma are looking to see. That's what I'm saying. The only thing I've ever knew about Bloomberg, like as a non-New Yorker, I've always known about stop and frisk. I've always known that was a problematic policy, and I knew about the sodas, and I knew about what was it? The gun, something with guns. He had some gun reform. I know a couple of things, but first of all, like I said, he rolled out his Greenwood plan in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So that's one thing. So I think that probably got him a little bit of extra support. And he's the only person who is proposing anything that is like, here's an African American centered policy. Like, no one is offering that except for Tom Steyer. So again, it's going to be interesting. Like, it really is going to be interesting. Don't let the media make you believe that he's not a viable candidate or that he can't overcome stop and frisk. I 100% believe that he can. It's going to be up to Andrew Yang to discredit the government as a mechanism to resolve any problems. Bloomberg isn't strong. All right. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to look at the numbers. Like, he's polling 10% nationally. Like, why? I don't know why. Maybe his ads are strong. He's doing something right. People want Bloomberg because he's a bigger billionaire. That's it. Be a bigger dog in the fight. I'm telling you. Apparently, the poll so far is at 7.5% right in. There's an audio leak of Bloomberg being a blatant racist, blaming black men for all. I saw the audio leak. That audio leak isn't anything special to me because that audio leak is the exact logic that would even create a stop and frisk policy. So, again, if you're in the community, the conversation, I'm sure at that time, was not, we can't have this stop and frisk policy, except for from the young black men who were being unnecessarily stopped. I think I saw there was a documentary or some little CNN piece. They said some guy had been stopped like 60 times in 2 years or something insane. Yeah, that guy hates it, but I bet the 50 or the 60-year-old lady who was afraid to walk to her trash can did not have a problem with stop and frisk. and who is more likely to vote. Like that's just how this thing goes, man. Like if you're the person who's going to um, the city council meeting, then your voice is heard. And the only time you hear the voice of the young black person is when they've been stopped 60 times and they decide to go to the city council meeting. So um, just don't believe the hype. That's all I'm saying. Just don't believe the hype. Bloomberg is scum. Bloomberg is not strong. All right, man. The money in connected media politics likely win. Plus, he's courting Stacey Abrams, likely VP pick. Yeah, man. He will be handpicked during convention by a handful of lobbyists. Lobbyists for Wall Street debates. Bloomberg would divide this country even further. Bloomberg is running on uniting the country. I'm just telling y'all. I don't like to be right. Okay? I don't like to be right. Just don't sleep is all I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you don't sleep. You know Joe Biden is crashing and burning right now. Who do you think people are going to want to vote for to replace Joe Biden? Do you think they want Amy Klobuchar? Do you think they want Mayor Pete? Or do you think they want Michael Bloomberg? Those are the choices. Who do you think they want? I mean, just think about it. It's not. This is not my logic or my choices. Just think about what do you think they would rather have? The people who want to vote for Joe Biden. Who do you think they want to vote for? When they see Bloomberg get up there, they're gonna be like, you know what? That guy. Bloomberg thinks he can unite the country. This is what he says. He been dividing New York City. My hope is once they're in the booth, they'll find once they're in the booth, they'll find it in them to vote for their self-interest and go for the dough. That's right. This is all about self-interest. That's why we don't like the caucus process, where you got to get out there and fight with people about who you support. It was actually effective. You see, Anime Blaze, when Bloomberg points out that he brought the murder rate down by 28%, it's going to be hard to argue that stop and frisk was a problematic policy. I mean, obviously it's a problematic policy, but I'm just saying, this is the problem with numbers. This is the problem with numbers. His numbers show improvement. They show that he was successful in the largest city in America. There was an article that was written that Bloomberg was on the verge of going down as the greatest mayor in New York history. Like, Jesus. Regulate Wall Street and the bank. I understand, you know what I mean? It just sucks because he's full of shit. The worst kind of personality. Bloomberg is running on the last drop before the recession. That housing thing is worrying. They're all running on uniting the country. Only Yang can, though. Uniting the country for rich white people. I need cash in my hand. Well, we're going to see, man. Technology doesn't give a damn about color. That's big facts, man. Listen, this thing's wide open. Let me do an Andrew Yang rally. Let Andrew, just empower me. Give me a community center. I'll get some votes for you. All right. I'll say what you won't say. I'll speak on your behalf, and I will say the truth. Yeah, because when automation kicks in, you're gonna be glad you took that vocational training. Right now, you know, 59% of Germans are in, or 59% of high school graduates in Germany have some vocational training. In America, it's 6%. So, who do you think is going to survive the fourth industrial revolution? Or not necessarily survive, but who's going to last a little bit longer? Who's going to have a little bit more job security? You know, that vocational degree is going to come in handy, and you know, make money a lot sooner. So, Blow really doesn't give one way or another. My money is definition. That's true. He did say that he will support whoever is the eventual nominee. So I don't know. Like I said, when you hear him talk, he sounds a lot more convincing than you might think. I mean, when he's like, the people are like, "Oh, you say you're buying the election?" He's like, "What do you want me to do? You want me to spend less money to defeat Donald Trump?" Like, it's kind of tough, man. How long does New Hampshire vote last today? It says it should be over by 12:03. By 12:03, it'll be over. They said the results will be in by 12:33. Germany coming back hard for World War III. Oh my goodness. Might get to at least 16 minutes on stage. If he's president, he would have a strong stopping press throughout the U.S. Oh my God, you guys are awful. 12K for basic needs will allow people to work on any job rather than fear of survival. Look, man, that's what we got to convince the American public. UBI isn't about what we have today. UBI is about creating a new path for a different way of life. I mean, you want Star Trek, or you just want to keep doing what you've been doing. Like, it's okay, it's okay to have a job or whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, and wait for your vacation and like that's a way of life. But imagine if we had a society where we cared more about people. I've been hearing the word humanity a lot lately. It's so ironic that we keep talking about humanity, and the one guy who's first day in office is to change the measures of what we call success in this country is going to change from GDP to how humane are we as a society is getting the least amount of talk time. It's sad, but that's what Andrew Yang wants to do. That's why he's the best candidate. That's why he's the way forward. That's why he's the guy that I hope New Hampshire supports today. And if that happens, we're going to get some new life in the campaign. We'll have some new money. We'll get some new blood. And hopefully we can start to get some of those senators and governors to step up and support Andrew Yang and give him that legitimacy that he needs going forward. Nevada's not going to be easy. South Carolina is not going to be easy. But a strong performance today will absolutely move us in the right direction. Mad Max or Star Trek. Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, Star Trek. Amy K, but it's so raw, it's not smooth, but she's given the benefit of the doubt. Only way to win in America is be LeBron James or build a business. A lot of Americans don't understand this notion. 1K a month would help a lot of people that don't understand. Man, you go look at those people who watch. I watch a lot of I haven't watched Shark Tank in forever. I used to watch a lot of Shark Tank, and you see it's like that first step to take a step away from your job is like a big. That's a challenge for people. We know that 70% of Americans can't afford an unexpected $500 bill without selling something. And do you think that there's any other more immediate policy? There's something more drastic that's going to have a more significant impact on people's lives today than a universal basic income? There's no question. America isn't a country of employees, and it will be until we run out of, until we don't need labor anymore at all. And then it'll be a country that's cannibalizing itself. That shot needs to change quick. Nevada will go to Pete using Caucus in the Shadow app. I forgot it is a caucus. Don't even remind me. But yeah, man, as we looked at the data from the Gallup poll, and then we see the early stuff, the numbers are just all over the place. We don't know where we are, but it's definitely up in the air, and I think Andrew Yang has an opportunity today to really put himself back in a good position, and I feel good about it. I really do feel good about man, it was just so good to wake up this morning and see Andrew Yang's face and name with a percentage by it, because for so long, if you don't finish in the top 5, you don't show up, So a good performance today. Who knows what happens tomorrow? You know what I mean? So stay tuned. 12:30 tonight. We should have some results. And yeah, man, I'll be back hopefully hopefully a victory. A victory for me is fourth place and above. 10% is a victory. So um, I'm confident. I'm confident. America is still fundamentally believes that if you're poor, it's your fault. Even most poor people. Andrew Yang is changing that. Well, I think a lot of Americans are now understanding that poor is a relative term. You know what I mean? Like the idea of poor maybe used to mean you make 20 grand a year, but I think people are starting to realize that you can make 80 grand a year and not feel comfortable. Like you can feel nervous. You know what I mean? Like it's expensive to live here. You know what I mean? Like there's things you need in life, there's things you want in life, and in order to, have them all, you know, you got to live right, and like nothing bad can happen. Like you can't get sick. Like if that's the thing, is that you can have a great plan and you can be doing well, but you get sick, or you have a natural disaster, you have a Katrina come through, or you have a big storm, and you might be in a little bit of trouble, man. Please finish my Andrew Yang speech. So I got an interview with a better job today. Good energy, Yang will do good. That's right. Good job. Good luck, Clayton. Knock it out. Get that new job. Will I be on? We'll see. We'll see. I might just drop in and do a little quick something, but I don't think I'll be on like this. America. Yes. It's trying to be detrimental. I appreciate you, Jeremiah, man. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Yeah, let's just stay focused. If you guys are out, you're doing phone banking or text banking, whatever, we appreciate your efforts. Anything you can do, contribute any money you can. This thing's not over. Andrew will let us know. Again, if you get the notification that we're not asking for money, then it's over. But in the meantime, keep moving forward. There's still room. Things are looking up. And again, if you look at the polls right now, you see Andrew Yang is sitting at number 4 for the first time in a long time. So with that said, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have an awesome day. Fingers crossed. Do what you got to do. Do your ritual, because tonight's our night. Peace.